Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the next session, that is learning XPath. So in this session, we're going to talk about one of the locator, which is XPath. So the agenda is like this. What is XPath? Types of XPath. So there are two types of XPath, absolute and relative. We're going to talk about both. Then we're going to talk about the relative XPath and its syntax. Then how to write a XPath of dynamic web elements. And then what are the different functions in XPath. Let's start with what is an XPath. So XPath is the path written using HTML tags or XML tags and their attributes to reach to a particular node or a web element in an HTML page or an XML page. So this XPath can be used both in HTML pages as well as in XML files, and it is used for identifying web elements. Now, why we need XPath? So yesterday when we were talking about in the last session, when we were talking about the different locators, we have 8 locators: ID, name, class name, tag name, CSS selector, then XPath, link text, and partial link text, right? So out of these 8 locators, the first 4, ID, name, class name, and tag name, they can easily be identified using the attributes, but they are not always unique, right? So like one example I showed you yesterday when we were talking about, I can quickly show you once again. So like one of the example I can give you is that when I click on this new customer and I check the radio button, the HTML code of the radio button, you will see that both male and female both have exactly same HTML code, right? Both of them have the attribute called name, and that value of that name attribute is same in both. That means I cannot use the name attribute. I don't have any other option available here. So if you don't have any other locator, then you can use XPath. Okay. And here it is mentioning that XPath is the path written using HTML tags. So I'll show you in a minute that how we can use these HTML tags and their attributes to reach to a node. So let's see here. Okay. So before that, let's see what are the different types of XPath we have. So there are 2 types of XPath. First one is absolute XPath. Absolute XPath is something which starts from the beginning of the page. Okay. And since in any HTML page, the first uh, tag is always of HTML, so the absolute XPath also starts with an HTML tag. And then we can use single slash to access its child, its immediate child, and from there we can reach to the child tag. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I go back here, and when I go on, I go to top of this HTML page, you can see that this HTML page starts with an HTML tag, right? So I'll do a control F here. It will open up this filter here, and here I can write the XPath. So how will I start? Since I said that the first tag is HTML, so I'll say single slash HTML. That means I'm at HTML. Then here I have 2 nodes of it, or you can say 2 child of HTML tag. One is head and second is body. Okay, I want to go to this male or female radio button, so I'll definitely go in one of these node. So I'll go to, let's say, body. So I'm here. Now inside this body there are so many elements. Which one we want? Let's quickly check from here. So here you can see that inside this body I want to go inside this table, so I can say single slash table. Okay, just remember one thing: when you have to access the immediate child, you have to use the single slash. Now inside this table we have t body. See, if I directly type tr, it will not give you any element. Why? Because this tr is not the immediate child, rather it's some child. So I'll change it to t body. So I reached here, right? Now inside this t body, I want to go inside this tr, then this td, and then this table like this. So tr then TD, then table, right? And in that again we have a T body. So we reached, see now, when I'm hovering over it, see what is getting highlighted here, right? Just focus on the screen. When I hover over this T body, you can see that particular table where we have this form gets highlighted. Now inside this T body, I'll go to TR. Inside that TR, so when I say TR, you can see there are 14 TRs, right? So this TR is nothing but the rows, right? TD is nothing but the cell inside a row, right? So which TR we need? See, I want this one. So this is the first one, which is add new customer. Then we have second one, which is this. Then we have third one. So we want to go to fourth one. Fourth is the one where we have, sorry, fourth one is customer name. So we need fifth one. Yeah. So fifth TR is the one where we have these radio buttons. So I'll pass a number 5. Why 5? Because fifth is the row where we have this gender thing, right? So we use the fifth row. Now this fifth row is the complete row, but what we want the radio buttons. So in this TR, I'll access TD. Which TD? Second TD. So second TD is the one where we will get both these inputs. So then I can say / input. So you will get the first input. If you not pass any index, it always takes the first one. But if you want the female one, then pass 2. So using this HTML code, you can identify these 2 radio buttons. Just pass 2, it will select the female radio button. Just pass 1 or don't pass anything, it will select the male radio button. So using this, we can actually interact with these radio buttons, right? So yesterday when we were writing it, it was different. So what is this? This is actually the other type of XPath, which is relative XPath. Now, what is drawback with absolute XPath? So the drawback is that the XPath what we have written here, it's kind of very stringent XPath or very hard-coded XPath, right? Say for example, if this instead of this fifth row, it start coming in sixth row, you'll not be able to reach this element, right? Or if let's say I change this second, instead of these 2 radio buttons, one more radio button will come, then again this will not work. So it's a very strict XPath, right? So though absolute XPath are very fast because they give you a direct location to reach to your element, still absolute XPaths are never preferred. Which one are preferred? Relative XPaths are generally preferred over absolute XPath, right? So let's start learning the relative XPath in that case. So how will you identify the relative XPath? So to identify the relative XPath, there is a very simple syntax for it. It says, okay, let me give you the syntax. Yeah, the basic syntax is /HTML tag, then in square bracket, pass an attribute and give its value. This is the very basic syntax of an XPath. Okay, what does this / means? So the / is used to access any child of the parent tag. Like in absolute XPath, we learned the /, right? So / is to access the immediate child, whereas / is to access any child. So when you'll put / in the start, what does that mean? When you put / in the start, that means you're referring to any child of HTML tag. HTML you need not to write here. So when you put / in the start, it means that you are searching for any child of HTML. Okay. Then what type of element I'm searching for? I'm searching for input type of element, right? So I'll simply say /input. So here you can see it is giving you 12 elements. That means on this page, there are 12 input type of tags, right? So you can see here, there are 12 input type of tags. So all these tags yesterday, in the last session, we saw that all were input, right? Now, which one I need? I need the one which has one of the attribute called value equal to some value of it. So if I say F, it becomes the female radio button. If I say M, it becomes the male radio button. So if I say M, it becomes the male radio button. And if I say F, it becomes the female radio button. So based on this value, you can identify, or you got the element, right? So yesterday also we saw that here driver.find element by.xpath, when I was passing this value, this is the same value I have written here, right? So this is the basic or one of the simplest example of relative XPath. Now here you can see that this XPath is not prone to changes. If your row becomes the 5th row, or if its column becomes the second column or the third cell, it does not matter, right? There is no hard code value. So remember this point, the basic difference between an absolute XPath and a relative XPath is that absolute XPath are very much prone to changes, because if something changes in between, they break. Whereas the relative XPath are stable XPath. They does not depend on a lot of elements, right? So relative XPaths though are slow because they have to traverse a lot to reach to the desired element, but they are always stable, right? So that's all for this session. In the next section, we will talk about the other topics, that is how to write an XPath of dynamic elements. We'll see some more examples, and then we'll also see the different functions we have in XPath. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next session.